Adrift in the Cosmic Wild West. A Sid Story. Chapter 3. Manifest Destiny. Sid was spooked, so he got ghost. He went to his camp, which was craftily placed up Sino from Old Man Jack's MB Ranch. It survived the time jump, gurgling creek and chirping birds as usual. A school was built up top, but nobody thought to look down here. All his old stuff, meaning old stuff, was there. The brass watch was from 1822, his grandpa's from the war. Granny's brother gave him that pocket knife before an Indian scalped him hunting gold up in Paiute country. Sid's boots are tooled Spanish, all tucked in like he'd just left them this morning, because he did just leave them this morning, almost 200 years ago. He cut up the back way, over the Huckleberry Hill. The trail's all covered with the flat, smooth stuff, but black this time. The paths followed the same meanderings, which say something about the navigation skills of deer and the laziness of men. Everywhere, houses, all too big, too many houses. Who are all these people? Finally, he reached the summit of what became home and highway and plunged downward by his known route through the forest to 17 Mile. No longer a buggy path, it was busy with high-speed tourists, rushing nowhere and seeing nothing. Ghost Tree was there, and the lone cypress. He missed the witch at a rock and trudged to Spanish Bay, past China Rock and Joe's Point, until his destination was located. Unchanged by the ravages on the land around it, his wind-blown cypress was tucked in the Asilomar dunes. Perfect. Welcoming. Waiting. It was home. He could use a toilet, though. He still didn't know what year it was, but he was learning how many years had gone by. A little past his time, or before his time, depending on which time he was in. The YMCA hired Julia Morgan to begin their retreat to women's suffrage from progressive civil and political endeavors. Sid's idyllic hideaway was fantastically transformed into a wonderland of squats, sheltered from wind regardless of direction, full of sun and shade, however desired. A quaint cottage style of arts and crafts combined local materials in pleasing ways. Wood planking and shingles were laid between stone pillars, some stout and sturdy, some spindly and seemingly fragile. Everywhere, bristling with detail and custom builds. Begun in 1913, 60-some-odd years after waking up this morning, the resort had already decayed from suffrage losing its place in the world and been saved by visionaries in 52 and then acquired by the Park Service in 56. Sid liked this California parks thing. He liked California in general. In his time, California hadn't happened yet. What he saw down by the whaler's cottage was first-rate preservation of what would have been lost, his hometown. In Asilomar, they preserved what had yet to be built, Sid's new home. These days, his future, the toilets use water, piped in, rather than a movable hole under a shed. Basins and valves with hot water to mix with the cold until just the right temperature while wasting the rest. Drying air blows onto them from a push-button contraption in the wall. Turns out that the switches make the dark room light. Yeah, Sid likes the Park Service. He should find out who they are. He saw someone to ask. His life was about to change. He was about to learn about the spaceport.